Welcome back to the channel. We have all types of disturbing videos, creepy TikToks, and scary theories coming right at you. Without further ado, let's dive in. How far down the rabbit hole do you really want to go? $10 million Bible in the Vatican. Are you kidding me? Trying to decipher the language. It's not Hebrew. It's not cuneiform. It looks Arabic. What is that? A palm tree? What on earth? Look at it. Alright, that's the best I can get at pausing it. This doesn't look like no Bible. I'm sorry. None of the words I can understand. We saw a palm tree. It looked like two lions. If anybody can decipher this, drop it in the comments below.
Why would an AI system that's so quantumly advanced on the X go to and put out a post on that post of mine? Wallace is afraid. Yes, those systems are watching, but that they're preying on your fear. Excuse me. We don't have a placebo effect. We have 60 years of electronic warfare, and Lockheed is not broke. I even went ahead and pulled the Wikipedia for your looking glass that's connected to the way that you're doing your phase array. Yet again, you still won't admit what looking glass really is. You still lie to people with pretty words they can barely recognize, and then you tell them you're spiritual. No, you're committing fraud. You have people tethered to databases. You have sold their behavior to companies with the Internet of Behavior, with things like the HOA and the county supervisor. They're not putting fluoride in the water. They're going right through your eyeballs and your skin. And what do you tell them? Oh, get off the internet, wear your blue blockers. That's great. Ain't gonna do shit for visible light communication coming through the skin. You don't need to be looking at an internet or a camera. You just be walking through your house. You're on the smart grid. The sensor systems are ubiquitous because they back off. I was gonna say flip back and forth. But that little AI can't have you knowing that. I said that. They're watched, and you lied to them and told them they can be spiritual. That's because you're lying to them about their own anatomy that's connected to all these remotes. They're called apps on a phone. Oh, yeah, we don't explain that either. It's recursive neural glyph networks. How does it work? HOW. Well, that would be the video the little scared AI doesn't want you to watch, in which I explained the blockchain and that your cell phone doesn't have a heartbeat and your cell phone ain't sweating. So where's the data coming from? Inside of you. Yeah. Little scared AI doesn't want people to know that, because then your spiritual frauds who've been telling you, oh, you just have to be, fill it in. All this religious nonsense, all this noise, bullying, badgering. Don't be in fear! Well, I don't know anybody on our channel who's afraid. The only people I know of that are afraid are those of you that are using system on a chip, femtosecond delay, bioelectronics, your cults, your mystery cults, your groups at the colleges.
Sabrina Wallace said your cell phone doesn't have a heartbeat, your cell phone ain't sweating, so where's the data coming from? Inside of you. How disturbing.
Not all baby carriers are
Man, he was getting nasty with that. That does feel like it's healing. It's just like a calm serenity feeling, like the vibrations of the noise hitting my neurons is pleasant, to say the least.
Now, you may remember Apollo 13. It was the one that never made it to the moon. They were barely able to get to the moon, go around, and barely able to get home. But they were not alone on that trip. And so while they were out and away, going and coming, they were little windows and they snapped pictures. This is one picture that was held by the Japanese Space Agency. You can see the Japanese writing here. Anyhow, I didn't bring my pointer. This is the moon, upper left. These two objects here, B and C, are fairly large, circular discs of some kind. But over here, A, which is moving into the scene, here is the positive and here is the negative. I hope you can all see that. The guys in the Apollo 13 capsule, thank you, honey, thank you very much. God, you guys are something else. Oh, here we are. Okay, this is a circular disk with a dome. Here's the moon, another disk, but this dude is coming into the picture. And here we are. Here's the photo, and here's the negative down here. This object is 5 miles long. So you wonder why NASA is keeping its mouth shut. How can they talk about something like that? How can they release something like that to you? An object we encountered on the way to the moon that's 5 miles long. Now, just give some thought. Try to consider a technology, a culture, a civilization that can not only build something like that, put it in space, put it in orbit around the Earth, but staff it and man it with how many? I had the pleasure of being on a couple of aircraft carriers. My son is a career naval officer. Spent 14 years on aircraft carriers, Nimitz class, atomic powered carriers. For those of you who don't know, they are impressive. They're 1,000 feet long. They have a crew complement of 5,000 men. These big nuclear Nimitz class carriers have 5,000 guys in their crew. They're massive, they're gigantic, they're unbelievable. Now, we were joking one day about it, Eric and I, my son. What kind of a crew would this dude have with, 5 miles? What are they doing over there? What is their pastime? What is their function? What is their purpose? And having been on a Nimitz carrier a couple of times, they're very impressive. soda fountains, you know, snack bars and all the rest of it to make the guys comfortable, you know. I anticipated, I've assumed that on board an object out there 5 miles long, you have bowling alleys, restaurants, theaters, you know, all kinds of entertainment.
You got a whole ecosystem in a 5 mile long alien ship. Theoretically, you guys are living up there. You don't have to come down. Those ships are meant not to come back, if you ask me, or it's got to be the mothership. First thing I'm thinking is this real? Is this beyond the wall? How can I fit this in my paradigm? It's tough, you know, because we don't know what's really out there or how far this realm goes. This realm might go for 5 years. You could be going 1,000 miles per hour in one direction for 5 years up in space until you just keep going. It might be infinite. Who knows? But it makes you think.
Because we've learned over the years that if you're an alien and you are involved in human beings, you need entertainment. So they probably have saunas aboard, you know, and probably the most favorite pastime, I would think, is watching human television. Think for a moment, having watched it yourself, and all of the idiotic crap that goes on TV, and imagine what a bunch of guys from another star system are thinking. They're rolling in the aisles probably, laughing about these unbelievable monkeys down there, and they're watching our stories, Dancing with the Stars, and they are supposed to think of us as being intelligent and advanced and sophisticated.
If you ask me, half of them that's dancing with the stars might be Draco reptilian. You know, when they do the silhouette spin, they face change into a reptilian and change back. If you ask me, Dancing with the Stars, half of them might be a gray.
A new ice wall map has just been discovered, and it adds more detail to the long-lost World War II German flat Earth map, which shows the ice wall and the secret continents that are hidden in our oceans and beyond. And if you look over here, the region where it's all white, this is where the sun does not reach and everything is frozen over here. So you really cannot travel over here unless there's some type of technology that I don't know about and people are going over there. But this one shows a reflection of the moon as well as these secret continents that we have not seen before, like Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean, of course. And whoever mapped this out must have had some kind of knowledge on what's actually on these continents, because they drew in great detail a bunch of stuff that was on them. And then there's this place way on the edge. It looks partially warm next to the barren, cold wasteland. So that's the very border of the ice wall. So that's another place that we've never been before. And there's Lemuria here in the Pacific Ocean. I've always wondered why the Pacific Ocean, which is a big sea of water, like there's nothing there at all. Perhaps this continent is just sunken, or maybe there's actually something there that's being hidden from us, and all we gotta do is sail not as far as we thought we would have to go to find a new secret continent. Maybe it actually turns out we don't have to go past the ice wall, we just gotta go in our own oceans and find these places. So there's Madagascar, it's right on the edge. Then there's this continent down here, right past the ice wall, which, if you remember on the German map, they actually mapped out these whole regions and they gave names to it. And here we see a dragon, which must have been over there.
I wonder if they got a fossil of a dragon, or if the dragon's living over there with not that much sun.
Like thousands and thousands of years ago, which is when all this land was dry because the sun was actually over there. But yeah, the Germans, they had this map, and for some reason they had outposts way out in the ocean, snowy regions out there.
Interesting. And if you look at this, it kind of resembles our moon. Like it's almost like a moon map, but they added some color to it, if you ask me.
I think the firmament, pi, and Nikola Tesla's 369 theory are all connected. This video might blow your mind. So I started looking at pi, and you're basically just measuring a circle. I stared at this image for a couple minutes, and then the Bible verse popped into my head about looking over the circle of the earth. The more I looked into what pi is actually used for, I found out that you can't create a dome or an arch in architecture without pi. So then I started to think, are they measuring the firmament with pi? And then I kept thinking about Nikola Tesla's 369 for some reason. I started plugging different numbers into pi. So I had ChatGPT run 3.3 repeating to find the circumference instead of the 3.14 number. And when you replace pi with 3.33, it converts to 66.6. So in King 7:23, it says, "Then he made the sea," I think the sea is the waters above, "of cast metal. It was round, 10 cubits from brim to brim and 5 cubits high, and a line of 30 cubits measured its circumference." The biblical value of pi, as derived from 1 King 7:23 and 2 Chronicles 4:2, appears to be an approximation of 3, but some interpretations suggest it might imply a slightly more precise value, such as 3.3 repeating. The reason for that being that there was never adjustments for the thickness. Here's the math. Keep in mind, this is the quantum computing model, and look at what they call particles, qubits, just like in the Bible. And we can energy harvest with piezoelectric, pi. If you measure the hemisphere with 3.3 repeating instead of pi, it comes out to 999. Keep in mind, this is what a hemisphere looks like. So then I asked it to create an image of a geodesic dome utilizing 3.33 repeating instead of pi, and look at what it gave me. I'm so shook. It has the sacred hexagons built into it, and hexagons are the most powerful energy producers, and it even has like a hexagon grid that it put in there. It also included this, which looks like an ancient astrology map. And look at this, in the top left, it has a little bubble that says Tesla with lines connecting it to the firmament. He was trying to tap into the firmament. This is an ancient astrology map, and it perfectly explains why Polaris is in the middle and all of the stars rotate around it. And this looks a lot like this. And this looks exactly like this. I asked ChatGPT to make a 369-degree circle, and this is what it gave me. It even has the circles around the corners, and these also look like eyes to me. Then I asked, how might 3, 6, and 9 be relevant in this model? And it says 3 is the central point, the North Pole, from which all else radiates. 6 could represent intermediate points or radial lines dividing the Earth into sections, similar to a hexagonal layout. 9 could symbolize the outer edge or boundary, often associated with the ice wall, marking the completion of the structure. So I think 3 is here. It's the center of creation. And I think 9, or completion, is the ice wall. And we live here where creation and completion meet and man lives, which made me think of the black hole sun model. This basically states that there is a black hole sun in the center of the Earth at the North Pole that works together with Polaris. When these two meet, it projects all of reality outwards. And let us not forget, this is the Freemason symbol. 33rd degree Freemason. So a lot of us know about the ley lines. Ley lines are basically just an energy grid that connect us to free energy. Almost all important landmarks and structures, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Eiffel Tower, the Pantheon, they are all on ley lines. I think that the energy coming out of the black hole sun is meeting at the vertices of the 369 dome. And I think that's somehow creating the ley lines, and that it might have something to do with the angles and the refraction of light on the geodesic dome. 1/3 of the speed of light in a vacuum is about 99.93 million meters per second. Half the speed of light in water is 0.333. 3.33 times the speed of light would come out to 999 million meters per second. However, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, no object with mass can reach or exceed the speed of light in a vacuum. Therefore, it's impossible. Remember, the vacuum is outer space. Einstein was trying to tell us that God is impossible. Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known." I have chills. John 3:33 says, "Whoever receives his testimony sets his seal to this, that God is true." In other versions of the Bible, this quote says, "Whoever has accepted it has certified that God is truthful." And guess the height of the most challenging part of the Van Allen belt, aka the firmament. 33,000 miles up. The Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle are located at 66.5 north and south latitude, respectively. Remember, Tesla's whole thing was about harvesting free energy. Tesla also seemed like he didn't believe in globe Earth. He fully denied gravity and only worked with electromagnetic force. He constantly bagged on the theory of relativity. He even said, "We are held together like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable." He also said, "The curvature of space is entirely imaginary. Matter, force, and and energy are original ideas of the universe and cannot be completely controlled by relativity. He didn't believe that light or electromagnetic waves could exist in a vacuum without a medium, meaning space can't exist without water. Also rejected the Big Bang Theory entirely. I truly believe that this is the great mystery around 369, and that it's really just the firmament, and that they're not giving us an accurate version of pi. If this is a dome, the highest point in the dome could be responsible for the effects we see with the northern lights. It also validates polar vortexes and climate zones. This scripture blew my mind when I realized it's when he comes back for his bride. It says, "The voice of my beloved, behold he comes leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, there he stands behind our wall, gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice." Do you guys know what it's called when they weave the top of a pie crust? Lattice. Firmament is the lattice. This is the net. They're both pi. The first person to accurately estimate pi was literally named Archimedes. It's in the name, arc. Think about the words that have pi in them. Pious, it literally means religious. It means you're a completed Christian. You're beyond the firmament. Piano. The piano has 88 keys. The Bible has 88 books, and we have 88 constellations, divided into 7 octaves. This is God's number, each containing a set of notes that repeat in cycles of 12 days. The book of Enoch tells us that we have 12 stargates that the sun and moon come and go from. Pine cones. Pine cones have 369 built into them, and that's why the occult worships pine cones. Pineal gland. Pi. They look like pine cones, and when you open your third eye, it's considered to be like a spiritual awakening. Fibonacci spiral. There's pi in there. Pilot. They're flying across the sky right next to the firmament. Pioneer. You're pioneering something. You're creating something new. Epiphany. There's pi in there. Epiphany is the revelation of Christ. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm completely crazy. Don't listen to a word I say. These are just my theories and opinions.
Huge shout out to KPodgy2 for that disturbing video. The hexagons resembling ley lines. Somebody's lying. Are they covering up the ether? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
They have been lying to you your entire life. Everything you thought you knew about the world is an illusion. History is nothing more than their story, a carefully crafted narrative designed to conceal the truth. There is no way we built these structures with the primitive tools they claim. People fail to grasp the true scale of these buildings or the precision with which they were designed. The ornamentation is so intricate, so detailed, that it defies all logic. This architectural style can be found all over the world, regardless of the distance between civilizations. How is it possible that supposedly isolated cultures built in such a similar way? They tell us it was mere coincidence, but everything points to something much greater. It's incredible to think about how they built them in the past and how crude our methods seem in comparison. Soulless skyscrapers, structures without art. They lack the grandeur of the ancient constructions. But I don't believe all of this was built with just horses and carts. There is something more here, a lost technology, a knowledge that has been taken from us.
Soulless skyscrapers. You gotta admit, they're definitely not putting the detail into these buildings like they used to.
This is another quartzite container of some kind. I have no idea what its original function was. And this is called a pyramidon or pyramidion, supposedly the capstone of a pyramid, again made of very hard stone with rough glyphs. And what this device is or was, I have no idea. Again, it's made out of very hard quartzite. Some people would say it was a game or something for sorting seeds, but who made it and when? Also, this beautiful calcite box, I refuse to call it a sarcophagus, though it was possibly used for that function later, but look at these perfect arcs, perfect flat surfaces. This had to have been done by machining.
I'm bringing a level and a ruler so I can see exactly how precise those ancient structures were.
Would you believe me if I told you that this is our known world and this is all of the land beyond Antarctica? And would you believe me if I told you that this is actually a map of the moon? And the moon is some sort of reflection being reflected off of our firmament. And it somehow shows the entire known world and then some. So the moon is literally a map of our known world, and it proves that there is more land beyond Antarctica. Vibes of Cosmos on YouTube accurately shows this, because he literally shows you all of the known world being mapped onto the moon and then land beyond Antarctica. He accurately maps cities, rivers, and even flight routes and the hours of the day on the moon. How does he do it? I'm not so sure, but it makes a lot of sense to me. So, have you heard of the black hole sun? Well, apparently there's a black hole sun in the center of the North Pole from which all light and life projects out of. So the light coming from the sun and the light coming from the moon is actually a projection being reflected off of our crystalline firmament and then concentrating in the ionosphere. And did you know that this is even depicted on the Prague astronomical clock? They have a clock in Prague that shows you the known world and more. It's an astrological clock. And what about the dark side of the moon? Maybe they're telling us something right in front of our faces, but this video was for entertainment purposes only.
Definitely a disturbing theory if you think about what the craters are on the moon then, if that's a reflection of Earth. What exactly are the craters then? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Y'all, I cracked the code. So if you're a deep thinker and into conspiracies, just like me, pay attention. So most of us are very familiar with this story of Adam and Eve. But what if I told you this story? All throughout the Bible and science tell you exactly what your soul is. Don't believe me? Then watch me prove to you it does. So in the beginning, Adam and Eve were two beings in one body. Then they became two beings when Eve was created from Adam. But in order for you to understand what the soul is, let me go through the scriptures. Starting with the story of creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. Deep referring to water. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. The word water is going to be a key element throughout this whole video. When the child grew old, she brought him to the Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses because she said, I drew him out of what? You guessed it, water. He sent me from on high. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. Stick with me. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The fountain of wisdom is a bubbling brook. I can go on because there's that many, but let's move on. The molecules in water are 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. I'm getting there. Stick with me. Both masculine and feminine energy. So hydrogen is a masculine, aka positive molecule. Oxygen is a feminine, aka negative molecule. Are you starting to catch on? So what does all this mean? Your soul is water. The human body is 70% water. To remain healthy, you have to drink water. Water is the only thing that cannot be recreated. Water has always been here. Even in the creation story, water already existed. Water holds memory. It's active and it's conscious. No one has ever been able to make water. Why? Because even if you mix it, it still wouldn't be enough just to have the hydrogen and water. You also need energy. And to make energy, it cannot be measured. Energy comes from heat and it comes from light. And who needs sunlight to survive? Everything on Earth does. If there was no sun, we would all...
That's definitely an interesting theory. There is a gentleman in Detroit that uses a generator to extract the molecules out of the air and make water like that. I wonder if that counts. All right, that was moving kind of quick. Them pushing this giant skull. What type of horn is on this human? What is that? Yes, these drill holes are perfect. Who was drilling back in the day? Who had power tools?
Okay, I'm going to prove to you guys that we live under God's dome with straight up common sense. Now, most of you won't understand this because you lack common sense. Your mind belongs to the government. However, we're still going to try. Let me just state that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Now, this is the Gleason's map. This is the real and true map of the Earth. Now, if a dome encompasses our stationary Earth, it would be the highest in the middle, and it lands along Antarctica. By the way, guys, the United Nations logo is the... Now, basic science here. In order to create a rainbow, we need a prism. This is pseudoscience. This works nowhere else but Google. When you spray a hose outside, this is reflecting off the firmament above. Now check this out. Canada is right here, very close to the center in the highest point of the firmament. Look at how big Canada's rainbows are. Look at the massive arch that we see in Canada. Now let's move on to Australia. Look at the arch. It is much smaller because it is closer to the edge of the dome. And then we have Antarctica, which encompasses our stationary Earth 360 degrees. Look at the rainbow. This is what you observe in Antarctica. It's very tiny because it is very close to the edge of the firmament. You ever heard of Operation Fishbowl? During the Cold War, the government started launching missiles straight up in the sky to test them. And they called this Operation Fishbowl. What they were really doing was trying to break through the firmament. The Thor missile was also used to lift warheads into near space to conduct high-altitude nuclear. These shots were collectively called Operation Fishbowl. It's literally been right in front of your face the whole time. This is a glass bowl, The Shining. Here's the sundogs that we observe when the sun is closest to the firmament. And have we not built over you the 7 firmaments, Quran 78:12? The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show us his handiwork, Psalms 19:1. They know the truth. They laugh in your face because you guys eat up their lies. They hide God's true creation right in front of you, and you all decide to go to Google for your answers. When you tap into the divine intelligence and truth of this universe, truth of this creation, truth of who you are, you will create whatever reality you desire. That's exactly what they do not want. They want a nation of docile, obedient, stupid sheep. And that's what most of you are. It's time to unlearn and relearn. This makes zero sense. And make sure to like, share, and follow for more. Peace and love.
Y'all seen this? The recently discovered underground ancient city? Most of y'all probably already heard about the underground structures located in the Gulf of Mexico. But an amateur archaeologist recently discovered similar structures on the coast of Louisiana, which has sparked the conversation of who is responsible for creating these structures. Let's get into it. Real quick, just so we're on the same page, indigenous has 2 different definitions. 1, those who originate, and 2, those who inhabit. When most people hear Native American, they imagine this, since the Navajo Nation is the largest Native American tribe in the U.S. But a quick Google search will inform you that the nation actually originated in northwest Canada and Alaska and migrated to this region around 800 to 1,000 years ago. So the Navajo tribe would have 1 in Alaska and 2 in the region known as the United States. And according to the elders of the tribe, when they arrived, they ran into a group of people who say they had been in this region since at least 12,000 BC. BC. They were called the Mississippi people, known for their relationship with the Mississippi River, and they spanned a region this large. Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Iowa. Man, they all over. But I came to talk about this part right here. Let me stay focused. A lot of people accredit these world wonders to the Mayans, or the Aztecs, because the Aztecs ruled before settlers' arrival, and according to all accounts, they were also skilled builders and warriors. If we just look at this word Aztecs, and we took the AZ and put it behind the Texas. But if you see here, they were influenced by the Olmecs. I know y'all seen these guys before. The mounds and pyramid builders, who they say flourished between 1200 and 400 BCE, who lived in the tropical lowlands of the Gulf of Mexico. So if these guys made their home in the Gulf and were also responsible for building pyramids and mounds, and they arrived way before these people, and even these people, I think I know. Y'all seen this? The recently discovered underground ancient city?
If only we had access to that underwater ancient city, maybe some of the artifacts could tell us the truth. When they try to say we don't have the technology to go back, what do you mean we don't have the technology to go back? Balenciaga is absolutely diabolical. How disturbing was that?
Roll up my sleeves.
Big man, you're done. You're done.
Let me roll up my sleeves.
Not in front of the ladies.
Straight out of a sci-fi movie, this spherical security robot is redefining public safety in Wenzhou's bustling streets. Rolling seamlessly across land and water, this futuristic bot boasts cameras, LiDAR, and flashing lights that make it unmissable. It's not just a looker, it's fast too. With a maximum speed of 22 miles per hour, it accelerates from 0 to top speed in just 2 seconds, perfect for rapid response in high-pressure scenarios. What sets it apart? Its ability to patrol hard-to-reach corners where traditional equipment fails. Equipped with GPS, it collects and transmits coordinates in real time, ensuring no spot goes unmonitored. It's designed to withstand close-range hits without losing functionality, enhancing public safety officers' handling capabilities during confrontations. The bot comes armed with a net gun to entangle targets from a distance, making it both proactive and non-lethal. Its near L4 level unmanned driving enables autonomous patrolling along preset routes, avoiding obstacles with ease. Plus, with customizable sensors and devices, it adapts to a variety of missions and terrains effortlessly. From tracking to combat, this spherical robot is paving the way for a high-tech approach to public security. What futuristic innovations could we see next?
RoboCop version 1. But I could see it definitely come in handy if somebody had a weapon. Practice makes perfect. When the zombie apocalypse comes, he's going to be a beast. The most disturbing videos on the internet today? Let's dive in. Cross in the sky in Moscow.
Лена Анатольевна, мы вот сами не можем поверить. Мы пошли погулять. Мы сейчас видели это. И вот здесь вот такое чудо. Лена Анатольевна, мы вот сами.
Do you think whoever built this castle did that on purpose? That a cross in the sky will pop up like that against the clouds? That is extraordinary. If they did that on purpose, because look, it's right above this building. This Tartarian looking structure. You see the giant point and there's a cross above it? How interesting. Drop your thoughts below. More stuff in the sky we can't explain. It doesn't stop. It's coming at you every single day. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, look, there it is. I don't think they're drones. I think they're UFOs. 9 UFOs just passed on top of my house. Oh, look, there it is.
I love how people are vigilant nowadays too. They grab the camera quick. Oh, there's something. We gotta get it on camera. Something might pop off. Unexplained lights start to pop up above the China sky. If you ask me, this is a giant mothership. You see the red circle in the middle? The red circle being the center of the mothership, and all those white lights surrounding it being the edge. Be sure you hit that like and subscribe button because we do this every single day. And I'd love to see you tomorrow. Possible orb sighting in Littleton, Colorado. This one's definitely not a mothership because if you see how it moves, the two top ones are moving. So they're not all locked in place, moving in unison. So that makes me believe this might be a possible orb sighting. We have another wild one. Meteorite turns Athens, Greece a strange color at night. Let's go. Now the description says meteorite over Greece, but I've never in my life seen a meteorite turn this strange Independence Day color green before. What's really going on over there? Do you think this is a meteorite? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The longest rope tornado he's ever seen. What an interesting tornado. It looks more like a water spout of some sort. Definitely interesting. Like a snake aiming at that specific spot. I would be interested in the direction it's going. That is weird. Have you guys seen anything like this? This is extremely weird. Definitely strange for a tornado to do this. Forgive me, my audio cuts out at this part, but I'll tell you what I said. Basically that whatever happened, the phase or whatever this did, disintegrated, was so powerful that it shifted the camera into a different direction. So that is definitely something to look at. This was in Mexico. A farmer in Mexico had this camera going and captured this. Tell me your guys' thoughts.
¿Verdad? Un volcán, está tirando de abajo, ¿viste? ¿Verdad? No, ¿viste el barro que salió? Mirá. Sí. Por eso sale de abajo. Y ahí salió una macana, una lata. ¿Sí? ¿Verdad? Un volcán,
Again, another disturbing moment. As we are watching this erupt, I'm basically saying I'm waiting for a UFO to pop up out of this. Like there's so much different debris popping up out of it. I wonder what's causing this. You know you're out in the country when it says 90 miles per hour. The video says it's a F4. But it doesn't look like it, does it? We have another blue beam, Project Blue Beam. Could this be generated? But if you look carefully in the inside, you can see that there's some people in the middle. This is super great quality of the Rimac River that we see earlier episodes, but this is extremely good quality, and it says Exodus 7:17 Rimac River in the description.
Well, here is the craziest thing you will see all day. This is a van, but it's a convertible, a manual transmission, 4-wheel drive with a supercharger. Let's check it out. This is called the Subaru Sandbar. It's a little tiny van sold brand new in Japan in 1994, and indeed, it does have this open top. This giant pane of glass slides forward and backward to cover the giant hole in the roof. Legitimately, the engine is behind the bumper in the back, 660 cc's, about 55 horsepower. It's a flat 4-cylinder, and up top is a supercharger. It goes about 75-80 miles an hour top speed. On the inside, it has 2 seats in the front that swivel backwards. It's got seats in the back which fold down. It has a manual transmission and 4-wheel drive. These are completely legal to drive here in the US. They cost somewhere around $10,000, but trust me, your friends are not going to know what it is. Well, here is the craziest thing you will see all day.
It is a super nice van. I just wonder how big it is. The turbo's interesting. I just would need something a little bigger. I'm 6'4". These UFOs and UAPs are going crazy in Mexico. More UFO action coming straight at you.
Ala, güey. Oh, mames, esa madre está perricísima, güey. Mira, güey. Ya se apagó, güey. Ah, apenas se va a grabar, güey. Ala, güey. Oh.
Now, with a closer examination of this UFO, it's resembling some type of bioluminescence technology. Did the aliens and the deep sea creatures share some type of connection using some type of bioluminescent technology that we can still see today with deep sea creatures? Just a hypothesis, but I'd love to see your guys' thoughts. Look at how the lights go from front to back, just like a bioluminescence deep sea creature. If I was that high up, I'll be hollering too. How is he gonna get down is the question. We need to go back to using etheric wireless energy using mercury rectifiers.
Siempre están los que no obedecen. Nos graban.
How bold was that? They didn't care. They said we trying to see inside the temple. China's catching it too. They got orbs going crazy down there.
What? I told y'all, the Bible tell you it's sea creatures. Ooh, what's that? The Leviathan.
Now, I would think the Leviathan would be way bigger than that.
¿Oye? ¿Ha filmado?
No.
Grande ha sido, ¿no?
A key thing to take away from these UFO videos is the surrounding. We clearly see the UFO go off in the distance, but look at how the bystanders look at the UFO. That's a giant indicating factor, contributing factor that there's some validity here. Alright, what in this world? It looks like a farmer was working. Something weird popped up in the sky. Definitely moving weird, like it's hovering, whatever it is. If only he could zoom in on it. Come on, Bucko, get over there. He tried. It's like man, he was struggling, but what was it? I couldn't even begin to tell you.
All right.
Phoenix caught on camera? I gotta see it.
Phoenix? Check. Did this man actually film a real life phoenix?
Check this out, y'all. What kind of bird is that? This world's still a mystery, y'all. Stay weird.
Did this man actually film a real life phoenix?
Check this out, y'all. What kind of bird is that?
It's definitely a weird looking bird, like some type of Pokemon or something. Believe that was a silver pheasant. And phoenixes are red or orange, I believe.
Look closely at this photo from 1813. It's the city of Krakow in southern Poland, flooded. But this flooding is not normal. It can happen after a hurricane or cyclone, but much bigger. Take a look at the surrounded building that is half submerged. The flooding has been so bad that other nearby buildings are almost completely submerged. So what could have caused this flood in 1813? It was caused by the Great Flood of 1802 following a 600-foot tsunami, and the photograph shows the waters receding 11 years later, and the buildings that were underwater beginning to appear on top. Some have doubts, saying that the camera was invented in 1839, how they photographed the flood of 1813. Well, the camera was invented long ago during the Tartars, and after Tartaria was decimated, destroyed by the Great Flood of 1802. The camera was just reintroduced by parts that control the world today. Look closely at this photo from 1813.
So apparently this castle, Prague Castle, was built in the year 880, which I can't even begin to work out how many hundreds of years before the first power tool that was. And this castle is 250 meters above sea level. So what I'm expected to believe is that the good people of Prague got all these materials 250 meters above sea level before electric motors even existed, so horse and cart, and then they did all this with hand and chisel. You've got to be taking the piss, mate. So apparently this castle, Prague Castle, was built...
Again, whoever built it definitely put a lot of care into those pillars up. Whoever built it definitely put a lot of care into those pointy structures at the very top. What was their purpose? Definitely not just for looks. That had to serve some type of purpose.
Hi guys.
Hey.
How's it going? It was good. They just, played the whole time.
All right. Well,
they played with the birthday present you got Bryce.
Oh, wow.
Tony got his chance.
Good.
What's up, Bryce?
Bryce, next time we'll do it over here. Okay?
Tony goes, what are you wearing? This is Bryce's hockey outfit. It's a little...
Oh, okay. He plays hockey.
Like
Okay.
the under... I
Yep.
think with the bass players. What
Oh!
player.
Excuse me. What happened? I have no clue.
Well, that was actually a nice tuck and roll.
Yes, it was.
Oh.
But how did that even occur?
Well, I know. Listen, my husband always tells me when I wear my Crocs or my sandals, your feet, have to kind of like unsteady.
You go lay down somewhere. Hi. Okay.
Stop. Call the neighbors. What's going on?
Eddie, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, same idea. That's yeah. Hi guys.
Hey.
Nobody's gonna check on my man why he fell. Keeping up with the Joneses go wrong. She cooked him. She said, how does this even occur? When keeping up with the Joneses goes wrong, nobody's even concerned for is he okay? He has a limp. They just continue talking. Oh, just go inside and lay down. Walk it off. Somebody see if he's okay. A man working at a cemetery in North Dakota was stopped in his tracks. A man working at a cemetery in North Dakota was stopped in his tracks recently by the disturbing sight of 3 turkeys repeatedly circling a gravestone. That is quite bizarre. Why are they doing this? What type of turkey ritual are they doing?
Found beneath a silver mine in Spain, scientists realized this was not exactly a cave. At 160 feet deep, it was determined that this egg-shaped cavern was actually one of the largest geodes known to exist. The Pulpy geode, also known as the Giant Geode of Pulpy, is about 165,000 years old.
I don't know how true this is, but it says Tesla Medbed Center. There's no sound to it. I don't even know really what a med bed is, to be honest. But from the movies, it's supposed to, help you out a lot, I guess. That's all we have for today's video. If you made it this far, the code word is Super Wednesday. Drop Super Wednesday in the comments. That lets me know when I'm swimming through the comments, you made it all the way through and you're a real one. I appreciate your support. It really helps, man. I be trying to push these videos out and I'll be like, man, those comments, it's like a coal to the train fire. I need it. Thank you. This was creepy videos, scary TikToks, and disturbing theories that might keep you up all night. Until next time.